Hi ladies and gentlemen, I'm Benjamin Temple and I'm doing a video on the Union Civic Big Boy, and I'm betting you guys know which model. It's the Broadway Limited version of the Big Boy, and it is road number 4014, the positive train control. We're also doing 4015. Why? Because these two engines I'm having some issues, and I'm doing this to help Broadway. I can post this video for them to see and hopefully make corrections or be able to see what's going on and fix my engine. So I have them both on the track. So I just wanted to point out some stuff to people that I see that constantly are getting wrong about these engines and making comments and things here. So the Union Civic Big Boy, there were 25 of them built grand total. 1941 and then 1944 was the last 5 that were built. So there were 20 built in 1941, in November 1941, and then in 1944 there would be 5 more that made the grand total of 25. Now you say, well, also just noted there are a difference between the first 20, so 4000 to 4019. Yes, why 19? Because it starts at 0. So if you count 1 at 0, then 4019 is your 20. And the difference is that there's a wartime restriction. So the first 20 had lighter steel, and also I think it had like rubber or metal not metal, I meant wood in place for some of the parts that they wanted rubber or they wanted wood. Wasn't available. I don't remember which way that would be, but I wanted to state that that's the difference. So class 2 and this is class 1, and you'll note that on the underneath. So those markings mean something. And I don't know that you can see that in my video here, but maybe. So you see that? There he is. That's the wheel arrangement 4884. And then the one's class 1, 68 is the diameter of the drives. Then they state, I think, 24 and 24. That's the cylinders on the engine. So that's the 2 sets of cylinders is what they're doing there. And then 32 is the strokes. But even the UP's own website states it's 23 and 23.75, and maybe they just didn't want to put that underneath the boiler because it's easier to write 24. But I believe, as far as I understand, that's incorrect. So the 540 is actually 540,000 pounds, which is on the drives. The DB in this particular case stands for Dickin and something else, because this would not have the grate on this engine, which I don't know by looking at it without getting out some pictures whether or not Broadway's got that correct. But what I can tell you that they do have on this engine, so here's your antenna for communication, then here's some electronics that is on this engine for the positive train control. And I think this little thing here, correct me for you viewers out there that are more knowledgeable about the Big Boy than I am. And the other thing that they got right is they put the 3 steam generators. Now some people say, well, what's the big deal there? Well, these generators convert steam powered or steam to electric. Electric provides your light here that you're seeing. Your light for your marker lights and your safety light and your backup light here, and then your marker lights here and your number board and your headlight. Of course, I don't know if Broadway's got 2 lights on that like the real thing, but the other thing I wanted to point out to some people, so obviously this is your smoke box, which most people know that. This is your steam whistle, this thing here. In real life, this would slide, not a hole underneath, because it would come out of this. This is your pipe. So this is your sand dome. There are 2 of them. This is your safety valves, which when there's too much pressure in the boiler, those would pop, allow that pressure to come down real fast. And then there's sheeting or shroud that's put over the jacketing, as they refer to it. And that these little things actually in real life would open up so they can get to, if there was a clog and the pipes would come down, allow that sand to go to those drive wheels and to open them up. So this is what's called the steam turret. Now what does that mean? Well, that's where all the piping comes together, and that's the weakest point in that piping just before it goes in. And the hope is if something does break, it'll break out here, not inside the cab, so it won't burn or scald or kill the men. I don't know if the big boy's set up, but I believe this is your low water alarm if that was to happen. And one of them is, if I'm not mistaken, your blow-off valve. But other than that, these are your cylinders right here, and there's 4 of them. So one on the other side. Let's see what else can I point out. So this is your water pump right here, and maybe you cannot see that. Let's see if we can throw some light on that. So this little thing here is your, I believe, the cold water pump. This pumps the water out of the tender into the boiler, and then this is your check valve. I also wanted to state, I saw a guy in a YouTube video state that like MTH has that incorrect, at least as far as the there's a valve that hangs, I think, because this is your fireman side. So the left side is your fireman, your right side is the engineer. I know that's kind of backwards, at least when you think about, the person that operates or runs a car, you sit on the left. Why is it set up that way? Because our engines came over from Great Britain, so that design stuck and stayed with our locomotives, and the guy that runs the engine, that's in control of the speed and basically all those functions is on the right side, and the fireman, the only thing he has control over is really supplying the water and the coal, or in this particular case oil, because this burns number 5 oil on this engine, because this is obviously the excursion version. But I did want some people to note some stuff here on the different parts of the locomotive and what's there. So one of the different, so this is road number 4015. So this engine would have been 1941, so would that engine, but it was restored obviously there in 2019. Let's see if we can see. Yeah, see, I think they have the 3/4 on here. It's hard to see, but so it's 23.75 inches is your cylinder diameter. But I see some people that's always wondering what is this. Well, if you go look that up, it's called a aftercooler, and I forget the type, but George Westinghouse, if I'm not mistaken, is the people that made that. And the reason I'm going to tell you what the importance of that is, they say, well, this is special only to the big boy. Well, maybe in this design, but other engines have it. You just got to know where to look at and what you're looking at. So this is F-fin type aftercoolers, and there's 2 versions of that. There's a later version that was built, and this was put here. There are 2 of them. There's one here and one here on this engine, and then your air pumps that supply the air to the air brakes is right here. They're hidden on this particular engine underneath the steps. And there's one set here and there's one set over there, because they're the double cross compound air brakes that are on this engine. But I wanted to tell you about that. These are what basically act like a radiator, except only in reverse operation. Now, why is that important? So it basically takes the steam, condenses it into water, and then that steam would then be transported back to the tender, or maybe in some cases diverted back into the boiler. And the reasoning for that, because the big boy went through deserts, and also such a massive engine, you're going to be constantly stopping for water, and they were hoping to eliminate some of the stops by putting that on here. But the problem with these type F-fin aftercoolers is in the wintertime you could see those icing up, and to try to alleviate that, there was a different design that's built, and you can clearly see that in this. Now you say, well, they're not on there. Yes, they are. Look very, very carefully, and you will see that they are, that I am in fact, and I do in fact know what I'm talking about. Guess what? They're right here, and you can see them. They even look more or less similar to the other version, but they're slightly different. And if I'm not mistaken, George Westinghouse is the company that's responsible for that particular. But, you can fact check me on that. I don't know, and I'm not claiming that I know everything. But the big boy is one of my favorite locomotives, although, I don't spend hours studying. I used to be able to tell you a whole lot more about. I do know this has the Walsh Schurz valve gear system that's on the engine. So when I talk about the valve gear system, I'm talking about this whole mechanicalism right here that converts basically steam, from the cylinder into motion, into turning those wheels. And that valve gear system is very important. So all these pieces are important in timing, and you say, well, this is the eccentric crank, and why is that important? Well, that goes around, that opens and closes, so that it controls different valves on the engine, which would open and close certain ports, allowing for steam to be released into things or not, and lubricating the engine. There's also a timing, and I'm not sure there's a chain here that's involved in timing of this engine, but the valve gear system, the whole purpose is for opening and closing various different ports on the engine that would lubricate, kind of an automatic lubrication system, if you will, set so that, certain pieces didn't overheat or wear, and the valve gear system is responsible for lubricating all the many different moving parts, but it's also the amount of steam that is released to these cylinders that's responsible for that, because the engineer, has controls up in the cab that he would open and close, allowing for full amount of steam being released into, or 85% or whatever cut, because once you get moving, my understanding is you don't want quite the speed or the amount of full steam released into that cylinder, just because as it gets moved, there's less steam that's needed to keep that engine moving, at least at the constant speed. And some of that steam, would cause the engine or the piston to slam and break a piston. So you cut back on some of that steam so that it can import it in there, but also, exit and give it time to do that, so you don't have too much and cause that, or to no expansion to happen within that cylinder. That's the purpose behind that. But Broadway, I'm doing this video not for my viewers to watch, so you think by that, but I kind of like to give information and let people know that I am very knowledgeable about these engines. After all, this is what got me into the model railroading in the first place, was knowing these engines. And while I don't have everything or know everything on the engine, I'm always learning something. But in truth, I have books, I have read them, I did know them. I would have been able to tell you all the different, from the eccentric crank and the connecting rod and the piston and all those different moving parts, but I don't exactly have that off the top of my head right today. But I wanted you to see this video because, as you can see, it is not smoking, at least the smokestack. And I want to state that, so when you get this engine, don't just put it on the track and, oh yeah, it's working. No, it's not. I wouldn't lie to you. I wouldn't send it down to cost you money under warranty that you pay for without being a problem. I think most of your technicians know that have dealt with me. But I'm here to say that I want you to see that there is a problem, You got to set it on the track and run it for, 5, 10, 15 minutes. Then this problem will develop. Yes, I have put oil into the smokestack, and it should be smoking, but however, it is not. And I put some more, and you can see that I've kind of overfilled it a little bit. As you can see, you might not be in this video, but you can see that there is oil on the side of that boiler there. And that is my purpose for wanting to do this video, is so that you can see that. And I don't know why. See, the smoking whistle function works just fine, but the unfortunately the smokestack is not working, and I don't really know, so that's why I want to send this engine back down for you guys to work on. So now I want you to note on this engine, when I got it, this piece here was off the engine. Now I took kind of like Elmer's glue, I can't think of what they call that, but glue, and glued that down. So if you need to take it off, all you'd have to do is add water and that should come off. There are some other parts here that popped off too. This little brace here for the valve gear system, some of them came off, but I glued them on, not with super glue, but with the same like Elmer's glue. But I wanted you to know this deck plate was busted, and I'm hoping that you will repair that, at least put a new one, is what I mean to say. And just so you know, I took super glue and glued that together. I found the pieces and glued it. But what I wanted you to see with this engine is this, if we can get it to work. And I think we should be able to. No. Okay, maybe not. Okay. Alright, so the problem here isn't the other one works or doesn't work as far as the smokestack, but as you can see, this one works, and it's been sitting there. It's probably getting pretty low. I probably should put some fluid into that, but as you can see there, it's smoking out the smoking whistle port. And when you first push the button, a lot of times it'll smoke, but then you'll see that it kind of cuts off there, and I don't know why it's doing that. And then see, like that, it continues even when it shouldn't be working. It's working, but I haven't, told it to work, and I don't know what the reasoning is there either. But it's smoking. And the other reason I was going to send this back, but I was also having trouble with well, I guess it's working now. Oh yes, it is working. For some reason my lights weren't wanting to come on and off as they should have, and I don't know what that reasoning is, but it is now working, so I guess we won't send it. But I know I've already got an authorization number for the other engine, but I wanted to go ahead and just send this engine down so that you could go ahead and fix them both and get them. The other thing I was kind of hoping is that you'd provide some extra traction tires, because unfortunately 4015 has went through 2 traction tires now, and I'm kind of getting low on those. But as you can see, the smoking whistle, see, it continues to smoke even though it shouldn't. It's still got smoke coming out of that exhaust port, and I don't know why it's doing that. You can clearly see that is smoking, but it's not. It only smokes there right off the bat. Then you can't quite see the smoke near as heavy, and then it'll continue to smoke. Now it doesn't really smoke except when it's running down the track. It seems to do it more so than you know, when it's sitting still. It's not quite as bad, but 4015 is definitely a problem. The smoking whistle function truly works, but the smokestack, however, is not working, and I was kind of hoping that you'd be able to fix that. Okay, Broadway, I think that's enough video as far as showing what works and what don't work. You can take the engine off the track, just so that you know. You can take it off the track, wait 5 minutes, set it back on the track, and that smokestack will go back to working. So I'm assuming something is getting hot, overheating, and either, you know, circuit breaker, I don't think you have that, but if you do have something that works in a manner, resets, or it's just the decoder itself is resetting, or whatever it is allowing that to go back to working. Now with 4014, however, I cannot seem to get that to work correctly at all. It doesn't matter what I do, but as you can see, it can't really see three streams of smoke there, and maybe it's just me, but when you look at 40, so you can clearly see that, and maybe it's because you got smoke out the stack and it's harder to see. I don't know, but I thought I'd post this, and then I want to share this video with you, and then you know, you let me know what you think. But I think they're both needed to send down. Unfortunately, I don't think I want to send the car for now. We'll wait and see. You know, if we have any more trouble with it, then we'll send it down, and hopefully we'll get video of it not working so that you can clearly see, and then we'll go from there. For those of you that watch my videos and enjoys my videos, please click, you know, hit that like button, and click the subscribe button to my channel. And if you have any pointers, you know, or something that you'd like to see on my channel, I know one gentleman, you know, wanted me to kill the lights, but unfortunately there is not a light switch. This building does not work that way, so I can't run the trains in the dark. There also is not, the buildings are not necessarily lit up. I mean, some of them, yes, like this, have lights in them, but if the lights are turned out here, I guess it could go to the breaker box and, you know, flip some of the breakers, but I'm not going to do that. For one, it's not my place. I don't want to mess it up, and I don't want to get myself in trouble. I mean, if it was my building, yeah, then I might do that if I knew what I was doing. but I don't want to go messing with things. It's not necessarily I don't know what I'm doing, but still, it's called respect. And unless I get permission from the president or somebody, I'm not going to do that. But anyhow, like I say, if you've enjoyed my videos, if you've learned something or you find factual information, please let me know. I don't mind you calling me out. Hey, I make mistakes too. I'm not perfect, but I like all the facts. And, you know, if you see something different or you're just making a comment, you know, because it's not necessarily being argumentative or we're having a confrontation. I didn't mean it like that. But what I mean, if you find something, know something, hey, I'm all ears. I love to learn things from my viewers too and learn things from people. Like I say, I don't know everything. I really don't. And good thing I don't know everything. But anyhow, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you didn't find this video boring. And take care. Bye-bye.